Hey artists, what you see here is a game asset I created as part of an art test for artificial core on the game Corepunk. And this art test actually helped me to get into the job at artificial core. So I thought it could be interesting to not just show the sculpt itself, but also talk about the thinking behind it. Because for me, a work like this is never only about making something detailed. It is really about design, readability, shape language, and showing that you can make clear visual decisions during the whole process. So while the time lapse is running in the background, I want to walk you through how I approach the blockout, how I refine the piece, and how I think about details without losing the main idea. And at the end of this video, I also want to give a small conclusion about what I think made this piece work and maybe what made it strong enough to help me get the job. I think one big mistake many artists make is falling in love with detail too early. Detail is fun, it always feels productive, but if the big shapes are not working, then no amount of detail will save the sculpt. So in the beginning, I really try to stay focused on the foundation. At that stage, I ask myself very simple questions. Does the silhouette feel clear? Do the big shapes feel appealing? Can I really see the personality of this asset? And does it feel readable even without any surface detail? For stylized work especially, this is super important because stylized design is not about adding more and more complexity. It is more about making very intentional choices with shape, rhythm, and contrast. So the blockout stage is not a rough start. It is basically the skeleton of the whole piece. When I started this asset, I tried to keep everything very primitive and very open. At this stage, I'm not trying to make it pretty. I'm trying to understand the design. You can see it in the blockout version that the forms are still very basic, but even there I already want the main idea to come through. For me, the goal of a good blockout is that even if I stop there, the viewer can already understand the asset. They should see the main structure, the weight, the proportions, and the overall attitude of this piece. I usually focus first on the big masses. So in this case, I looked at the top area, the supporting structure, and the base. I wanted these parts to feel clearly separated from each other so the eye can read the sculpt in layers. One thing I pay a lot of attention to is shape contrast. If everything has the same size, curve, language, and same visual weight, the sculpt becomes boring very fast. So already in the blockout, I try to create a mix of big, medium, and small shapes. Also, I try to balance straight shapes against curved shapes, soft shapes against sharper ones, and quiet areas against more active areas. That gives the sculpt more life even before details come in. Because this was made for a game-related test, readability was very important in my thinking. When you create assets for games, especially for stylized games, you always have to think about how the asset will read in the actual game context, not just in a beauty render or in ZBrush, but in the final game view. That means I try to make form that read clearly from a distance. I don't want the whole asset to become a noisy shape. I want the player understand the main form quickly. This is something I always care about a lot, especially because in games like Corepunk or top-down views in general, silhouette and clear separation of forms matter a lot. So even though this is a sculpt, I'm already thinking like a game artist. I'm thinking about visual hierarchy, what should catch the eye first, what supports the main idea, and what can stand more subtle in the background. That mindset helps me not to overwork parts that do not really need attention. Once I feel good about the blockout, I move into the refine stage. For me, this is where the sculpt really starts to become interesting, because now I'm not inventing the whole piece anymore. Now I am reacting to what is already there. I start cleaning curves, improving tensions, pushing asymmetry where it needs, and make the form feel more intentional. big part of refining is asking, how can I make these shapes feel designed, not just assembled? That means I look for areas where I can improve tension, flow, overlap, and rhythm. For example, if a curve feels too even, I might break it a bit. If a shape transition feels too soft, I might sharpen it. If an area feels too empty, I might add support shapes. If an area feels too busy, I might simplify it again. This back and forth is normal. Refining is not only adding, a lot of refining is actually removing and reducing things. I think this is something many people do not talk enough about. Sometimes the best sculpting decision is to do less. Another thing I think about during the refinement is character. Even if this is an environment asset or a prop-based piece, I still want it to have personality. I don't want it to feel generic, so I look for little opportunities to make the sculpt feel more unique. That can come from the proportions, from the gesture of the shapes, from the way elements bend and hang, or from the way details support the mood. I think good stylized design often feels a bit like storytelling through shapes. You're not just building an object, you're building an impression. You want the viewer feel something about it. Maybe it feels old, alive, playful, magical, or handmade. And that feeling starts way before texturing and material. It starts already in the sculpting. That is why I enjoy this phase a lot. Here the asset slowly moves from being a technical exercise into something with more identity. In the final phase, I start adding the smaller details and the surface information. But even here, I try to stay controlled. I don't want to detail everything equally. If every part has the same amount of detail, the eye gets tired and the sculpt loses focus. So I usually think of details as a tool to support the main design, not to replace it. I ask myself where I do want people to look at, which areas deserve more attention, which areas can stay more calm. That helps me to create the focal points. For example, I might put more love into the top area or into parts that define the character of the asset, while other parts stay simple to support the composition. I also think about materials. Even without final textures, different types of surface treatments can already suggest different materials. Something can feel more wooden, more organic, more worn, or more stone-like just through form language and sculpted surface. That helps the asset feel richer without becoming messy. And in the very end, I also look at the full piece again and ask if the detail still respects the original blockout. Because sometimes details can slowly destroy the nice read you had at the beginning. So I always want the final sculpt to feel like a stronger version of the original idea, not a more complicated version of it. So for me, one of the biggest lessons in sculpting is that the final result is usually decided by the quality of the early decisions. A clean blockout gives you a direction. A messy blockout gives you problems to solve later. And usually those problems do not disappear. They just get covered by detail for a while. So over time, I learned to be more patient in the beginning. I try not to rush into polishing too early. I try to spend more time understanding the design and feel. Also with art tests especially, I think it is important to show that you can make decisions with intention. It is not only about making something that looks good. It is also about showing that you understand production thinking, reliability, prioritization, and style control. That is a huge part of being a professional artist. And honestly, this is also why I enjoy sculpting so much. It's not just only about technical execution. It's about taste, design judgment, problem solving, and knowing when to push and when to stop. So to wrap this up, I think this piece worked not because it had the most details, but because it had a clear idea from the beginning. For me, the most important part was everything after that was really about supporting that idea, not replacing it. And I think that is probably one of the main reasons why this art test was successful and why it helped me get the job at Artificial Core. Because in the end, studios do not only look for someone who can sculpt nice details, they also look for artists who can think clearly, solve visual problems, work with intention, and create assets that fit a game production pipeline. So if there is one thing I would take away from this whole process, it is this: do not underestimate the early stage. The blockout is not the boring part. The blockout is where the real decisions happen. And if you get that part right, the rest of the process becomes much stronger. So yeah, those were my thoughts on the sculpt and on the process from Blockout to Final. I hope this was helpful for you, especially if you are working on stylized assets, portfolio pieces, or even your own art test. And if you enjoyed this kind of content, please let me know in the comments below. I would be happy to make more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next one.